Hey all, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here, friends. Today the topic is UB421. I'm doing this because a few weeks ago, one of our viewers had remarked that UB421 has started phase 3 and he wanted me to have a look at it. So basically, I would say that whenever a phase has been started, there is nothing much to report about. They have to actually complete the phase and start to release some data so that we can talk about it. Otherwise, we'll just be able to say that phase 3 has started. So I decided to look into UB421, and then I found that the phases for UB421 can be confusing because it has been primarily tested in China and Taiwan in phase 1 and preclinical. And then it has been tested, its testing has been expanded subsequently for phase 3 into Thailand as well, and it includes China, Taiwan, and Thailand. Whereas phase 2 for functional cure is going to be done in US in collaboration with NIH. So it's all a bit confusing. So I'm going to do a bit of clarification out there for that. And then I decided that I would like to explain to you once again in a very clear terms the exact mechanism by which UB421 works. And then I'm going to tell you why it's an excellent mechanism, because it will give total coverage for the human immune system from HIV. And at the same time, I'm also going to tell you about why I think that strategy is probably fraught with a bit of risk, because it may potentially compromise human immune system while the therapy is in operation. It's reversible, but while the therapy is in operation, it could cause problems for the human immune system to function normally. I'm going to explain that concept. And of course, I'll talk about and clearly explain all the phases of UB421 clinical trials, the ones that have been completed and the ones that are in progress and the ones that are yet to start. And at the end of it, I'm also answering the frequently asked questions that you ask, which is, will this be available in India? How much is it going to cost? When is the trial going to be over? When will we get approval? I'm going to answer all those questions. With that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. I would like to first take you to the website of the company that makes UB421, United Pharma. Here we are on the website of United Biopharma, and it says here that UB421 is an innovative HIV infectious disease therapeutic monoclonal antibody. So basically, it's a monoclonal antibody treatment, and the mechanism of action is that UB421 is a FC, aglycolated, non-T cell depleting, humanized IgG1 that targets domain 1 of CD4 receptor on CD4 plus T cell surface, blocking entry of HIV into the cells via a competitive binding inhibition. Now, I want to break this down for you in detail. I'll break down each of these technical concepts, and then we'll assemble the understanding in order to clearly understand the mechanism of action. So UB421 is a unique therapeutic agent designed to combat HIV by targeting a specific protein on the surface of CD4 plus T cells, which are immune cells that the HIV virus infects. Here's a breakdown of the key points. The first point is that UB421 is a monoclonal antibody, and it's designed to combat HIV infection. It belongs to the IgG1 class of antibodies, which is a type of immunoglobulin G antibody used in immunotherapy. It's humanized, meaning it's derived from human antibody sequences to reduce the risk of immune reactions when used in people. Then we have the term FC, aglycolated. This glycolated, which means the term describes it as a modification of the FC or fragment crystallizable region of the antibody. Glycylation refers to the addition of sugar molecules, and aglycylation refers to the removal of sugar molecules. In this case, the antibody is FC aglycolated, which means that these sugar molecules have been removed. This modification affects the antibody's ability to interact with other immune cells and complements, and is done to reduce certain immune responses that would otherwise occur when using antibodies. Non-T cell depleting means UB421 does not deplete or destroy CD4 plus T cell. In some HIV treatments, the immune system CD4 plus T cells can be targeted and destroyed as a strategy to control the virus. However, this can weaken the immune system. UB421 doesn't do that. It works differently. We all know that the CD4 receptor is a protein found on the surface of CD4 plus T cells, which are a type of white blood cells that play a crucial role in the immune response. HIV primarily infects CD4 plus T cells by binding to the CD4 receptor. UB421 specifically targets this CD4 receptor. It blocks the entry of HIV into CD4 cells, because HIV enters CD4 plus T cells by binding to the CD4 receptor and a co-receptor called CCR5 or CXCR4. UB421 competes with the HIV for binding to the CD4 receptor. When UB421 binds to CD4, it prevents the HIV from attaching to this receptor. This interference disrupts the virus's ability to enter and infect the CD4 plus T cells. Competitive binding inhibition means UB421 blocks HIV entry through a competitive binding inhibition mechanism. This means that UB421 competes with HIV for binding to the CD4 receptor on the surface of CD4 plus T cells. By binding to the receptor before HIV can, UB421 effectively prevents the virus from entering the T cells, thereby reducing the viral load in the body. So I'm going to show you a graphic out here. So if you can see here in this graphic, you will see that UB421 is an engineered antibody that specifically targets the CD4 receptor. The CD4 receptor has got 4 domains, domain 1, 2, 3, and 4. So UB421 binds to domain 1, and it blocks the HIV from binding to the domain 1, and therefore it blocks HIV from getting any grip on the CD4 plus T cell. Now friends, the way I see it is that if this succeeds, this could lead to a functional cure, because CD4 is used by HIV, and wherever CD4 receptors are found, HIV will target that, whether it's a macrophage or a dendritic cell or a CD4 plus T cell. UB421 also does the same thing, and it is 50 or 5,000 times more potent than HIV in binding to the domain 1 of CD4 receptor. So it will compete with HIV and block the CD4 receptors and prevent HIV from getting any foothold on any of the cells, whether it is CD4 T cell or macrophage, or if it's a dendritic cell, because it will block off CD4. So this is a very good thing. It will give a blanket protection for the human body from HIV. From what I understand, CD4, also known as cluster of differentiation 4, is a glycoprotein found on the surface of specific type of WBC known as CD4 plus T cell or helper T cells. And the CD4 protein plays a crucial role in the immune system, primarily functioning as a co-receptor for the T cell receptor on CD4 plus T cells, and its main function includes antigen recognition. CD4 helps in the recognition of antigens, which are molecules that trigger an immune response. Antigens can be derived from the pathogens like bacteria, viruses, or other foreign substances. CD4 plus T cells in particular are critical in recognizing antigens presented by antigen-presenting cells or APCs like dendritic cells and macrophages. So friends, if you recollect my earlier series on human immune system, you saw how macrophages can engulf intruder and dissolve it and take the antigen and present it on its surface. So when you got CD4 plus naive CD4 plus T cells that come across such a macrophage presenting an antigen, the CD4 receptors pick up the antigen and recognize that this antigen belongs to a foreign pathogen because a macrophage has presented it. And then these CD4 T cells will go ahead and present that to a B cell, which already has got the same antigen which it had picked up from a foreign pathogen. So that's when the B cell, which was naive, becomes mature, and it starts creating copies of itself, which can produce the antigen for that, which can produce the antibody for that antigen. And it also produces memory T cells. So that is the sequence that we had. So CD4 receptor is integral for the entire human system to recognize foreign pathogens and create antibodies for it and create immune memory in our body. So when we have a therapy that starts blocking CD4 receptors, then it's going to interfere potentially with the entire human immune system as such. So you may end up getting protection from HIV, but there are other pathogens that may enter the body which may go unchallenged to a good extent, because UB421 will be blocking the CD4 receptors, and therefore the ability of the body to identify and produce antibodies for new pathogens that enter the body is diminished, and therefore in effect it also diminishes the ability of the body to have a memory of those pathogens. So in other words, we have to see whether the clinical trial report highlights any of these effects. So I looked at the clinical trial report reviews that I found on various publications, and there has been no indication that immune system is being compromised by UB421. So I'll take it on faith that due to some reason immune response was not subdued for other pathogens excluding HIV, and at the same time it gives protection for HIV-1. So this is the way I would summarize it. Now let us go on to have a look at the phases of clinical trials. So as you can see here in this pipeline, they have been very good in giving us a breakup. This is the most easiest way to understand the complicated issues with UB421 clinical trials. So let us first start with the component that's already in phase 3. So that is HIV with combined ART, where they have a combination of 3 ART along with UB421, and that has reached phase 3. And in the US, in collaboration with NIH, they are looking at HIV, multi-drug resistant HIV, where they're going to use UB421, and that is entering phase 2. That will enter phase 2 shortly. And they have already completed phase 2 for that in Taiwan, China, and as well as Thailand. And that's what it's indicated here, and that's why it's in phase 3 in all those countries. So we are going to have phase 2 starting under the auspices of NIH, but it's not yet decided when the clinical trial will begin in US. So it's already beginning in Taiwan, Thailand, and China. So in summary, what I would say is that blocking domain 1 of the CD4 receptor could result in reduced immune responsiveness, and that's what we should watch for in the clinical trials. The fact that it has reached phase 3 indicates to me that this is a non-issue. I don't know how they have accomplished it. It will be very interesting to get the specifics of why they have been able to avoid this issue. And however, the results from phase 1, as I said, did not indicate any compromised immunity. Phase 2 also doesn't, and it's gone into phase 3. And as far as the status of the study is concerned, I think that it will be safe to say in a very simple manner that it's gone into phase 3 in China, Taiwan, and Thailand, whereas it's entering phase 2 in the United States for multiple drug-resistant version of HIV. So they'll be selecting those kind of patients. However, it's not clear when the trial will start in US, but it's already been done in China, and it's already starting in China and Taiwan. So that said, I think that brings me to an end of explanation on UB421. And now I'm going to answer some of the FAQs to preempt the questions that I always get, because I have this compulsion that I want to answer every question, and I answer all the questions unless the question doesn't make sense or the question is snarky, then I don't answer it. So here are some of the questions I anticipate, and I'm going to spare you the trouble so that you can use the time to give me a more challenging question that makes me work a little more to come up with some interesting new insights. So first, this is not available in India. So the question will be, when is it coming to India? I don't know. Is it available in India? No, it's not available in India. The second question will be, has this been approved? So the answer is no, it's still in clinical trial. And the third question would be, When will it be approved? The answer is no, we do not know that. Fourth question will be, do we know when phase 2 functional cure trial will start in the US? The answer is I don't know. I don't have any information about that. And the other question will be, how much will it cost? So the answer is I don't know. The other question that you will have is it sterilizing cure or is it a functional cure? So the answer for this is it's designed to be a functional cure in combination with ART. And so that's all the things that I can think as common questions that will be asked. I have already answered that for you. So friends, this is a roundup for UB421. I hope you found the information useful. With this, I would like to bring this video to an end. And again, I'm going to make a request again to all of you. For example, when I go to Wikipedia, they make an appeal. They say that they are not taking money from any third parties in order to be independent. And therefore, they request people to pay money. And I use Wikipedia frequently. So every once in a while, I donate money to them. The same is the case with our channel out here. The HIV work is being done voluntarily, and I'm the only person who is working on it. And I'm answering emails that come to me directly. I'm answering each and every comment. And I'm doing the study, all because I want to make sure that people in different parts of the world who do not get the information and who have not learned biology can understand what is happening to their bodies if they have HIV and what is the status of the various therapies. This is a noble work, but I must confess that as a retired person who is looking for a work-life balance, I'm not particularly enthusiastic about continuing this beyond this year if I do not have 100 members by the end of the year, because I would need to have somebody to help me. And Canada is a high-cost jurisdiction. I don't want to put my retirement money recruiting people for this channel to do work here, but I need the money coming from membership and Patreon. So unless I have 100 members or Patreons, I'm going to discontinue the HIV therapy component of our channel and just focus on genomics. I want this HIV section to continue, but I want less and less involvement from me. I just want to be here to do the quality control and produce the initial knowledge. And then I want to have other people whom I recruit here who would actually deliver them to you in detail so that this work continues and I'm able to focus on genomic investments, which is where my heart lies. So friends, if you want this channel to continue with HIV programming, now is your time. I want to see around 100 members before the end of the year. Either become a member or a Patreon. We need 100. And without that, I'm definitely saying that I wouldn't be continuing HIV programming on the channel. So with that said, my friends, I'd like to end this video here. And I would also like to thank all the members and Patreons who have been supporting this channel so far. I really admire their efforts. We have got 15 members in the channel and we got 3 Patreons. My heartfelt thanks to all of them. Bye for now.